What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Triforce of Baseball podcast. Chris is here and live in the studio. Let's cue the intro. All right, y'all. Welcome back here on the second day of December. Excuse me, I almost said the first. That's actually when the time I'm recording this podcast episode. It is winter outside. It is cold. It is really cold outside. I'm not gonna lie. It was 30 degrees and it has a lot of snow here, but that is not gonna stop us. Let's get into our first sport, which is NFL. So we'll get into the topic first, but I do want to mention Seahawks played the Cowboys on Thursday, and this Cowboys won. I mean, I saw like the last few minutes, so I didn't see what happened, but I'm very shocked about that result. I thought but it kind of made sense, actually. No, scratch it. It did make sense a little bit for it to be close, because Cowboys hasn't been a team in 500 until Thursday, where they finally did it. And to be honest, I think the Cowboys just played a really good game. Dak Prescott played really good. Still, I don't know if he's still in the overrated talks or anything like that, but I think he played really good against the Seahawks. Seahawks, they are technically over 500, and they are probably one of the most competitive divisions in the NFC. So, yeah, that was a really good game. Anyways, let's talk about a few things here today. Besides that, I mean, speaking of the Cowboys in the NFC East, the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles, can clinch the playoffs. They play against the Niners, so it's not looking the best for them, but they could clinch the playoffs this week against the Niners. If they win and the Rams lose, I mean, they'll clinch the playoffs. Nothing more than said. That is probably the best case scenario for them. The Rams are playing the Browns right now. The Browns are doing really good. They got 8 wins. They don't have DTR at starting. They have Joe Flacco, which is kind of an interesting move. It makes sense, but you got to also recognize their defense. I mean, although the Browns have like Amari Cooper, and they do have David Njoku. David Njoku is the most passing completions in the NFL, pass dropped in the NFL by a single player. I mean, the Rams, they have not looked good, to be honest. So I think the Browns will win. It's going to probably be a defensive shootout between the two teams, because the Rams have pretty good defense too. And with the Browns' offense, they lacking a quarterback right now. A lot of people are like, well, Deshaun Watson's really good. I don't know about Deshaun Watson. I mean, I think he was overpaid, to be honest with you. But anyways, the Browns winning against the Rams will most likely happen. Eagles, they just got to win their game against the Niners, which it is not an easy game. Both teams probably top 2 in the NFC, maybe even top 3 in the NFL right now. Eagles number 1. I don't know about the Niners. I think the Chiefs and Ravens are up there for 2 and 3. Yeah, the Eagles can win clinch the game with the win and Rams lost. The other 3 scenarios: win and Lions losing, or the Packers losing as well, or actually Packers losing or tie. If they tie, the Rams losing, the Packers lost or tie, and the Saints lost or tie, and then they need the Rams to lose, Packers lose or to tie, and the Falcons lose or tie. And I think the best case scenario is win and hope that the Browns could take care of business against the Rams, which they really need to do. They could really tie for first, or actually they will take the lead in the AFC North, the Browns, if they win against the Rams. Ravens are on a bye week, and they will move up to 9-3. The Rams also need this win if they do want to stay in the NFC West playoff hunt, or NFC West division hunt and a playoff hunt as well. As the Niners could lose to the Eagles. I mean, a lot can go on. And that is probably the biggest thing. I mean, I think for the Eagles too, I do want to mention Jalen Hurts has been good. The defense has been pretty solid. I mean, you got Swift, you got Jason Kelce, you got A.J. Brown. Brown hasn't been doing a lot. I think Jalen Reagor has been doing a little bit more. I mean, yeah, it's just Jalen Hurts and DeAndre Swift is kind of all you need, honestly, for the Eagles and your defense. You also have the tush push as well. against the Niners. Niners still have probably – it's going to be a battle of good defenses this Sunday. Well, I'll talk about like who I think is going to win, and that's our segment. But, yeah, we're in the NFL segment right now, and I think the biggest thing is just for the Eagles right now, they got to figure it out. I mean, I think they did figure it out, honestly. They got to kind of figure out the passing game. I don't think it's good, to be honest. But, I mean, Brock Purdy hasn't played good at all, so – and by the way, isn't good. I think the Eagles have a really good pass offense. It's just, I mean, Jalen Hurts can throw the ball anywhere, to be honest, and he's a really good rushing quarterback. I'm going to be honest with you, but yeah, it's against the Niners. I mean, he's going to be pressured a lot. The running game might not be as dominant as it was, so they got to figure out the passing game for this week, and we'll see. I mean, I think they have done it before. The Chiefs, they did it against the Chiefs, so we'll see what they can do against the Niners. And for the Niners, I mean, Brock Purdy's just going to have to play a really good game. He hasn't been doing a lot this past, I would say, few games, to be honest. I don't think it was the Brock Purdy I knew, to be honest. All right, so now, and I do want to mention this in the NFL. I think contracts, like big contracts, just not even just the NFL, just all leagues, like, it kind of messes you up a little bit because, like, for example, we'll give Daniel Jones into this. Well, actually, not Daniel Jones. Let's go with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson hasn't been the best for the Browns. He has been pretty mediocre, I want to say. I think he was a lot better on the Texans, but also he had a massive contract, so I think he's worried about the money right now. And then he also has the allegations, so that's probably the biggest thing. The next topic is Frank Reich from the Carolina Panthers gets fired. He got fired, it was on Tuesday, I want to say. Yeah, Tuesday. I know a lot of people know about this, and I want to talk about it a little bit. For the Panthers, it was not a good it was probably the worst. I don't know, honestly. We'll have to see with this new interim head coach, that being Chris Tabor, who was a special teams coach. But, I mean, I could see it too. I could see both sides. Number one, the NFC South is the worst division in the league right now. I mean, their number one team is a 5-win team. They still have a chance. But also, you want to find a way to turn around because you have no number one pick this year. But, yeah, I mean, I don't see them to do it, to be honest. I think the season has been over already for the Carolina Panthers. There's just they probably, if they lose, I think they are definitely out. They're taking on the Bucs this week, and, I mean, Bryce Young's good, but, I mean, the rest of the team, I mean, the running game has been probably 700 yards between two running backs of Miles Sanders, I want to say. Miles Sanders, I think, and Chuba Hubbard. But they also got Adam Thielen. He's pretty old, to be honest with you. You just got to figure out a new way for that Panthers offense, for sure, to keep winning and stuff, because the Bears have your pick, and they probably will draft Caleb Williams if they get that pick. Bears are not good with Justin Fields right now, so we'll see what happens. I do want to mention, too, I think the Panthers are, Carolina Panthers have probably one of the worst futures. They're probably, like, if I put them in tiers between A, B, C, and D, I think they're at, like, kind of a C tier in the future. They don't have the number one pick this year with that trade for Bryce Young. Bryce Young, I mean, a lot of people are talking about C.J. Stroud, so I can't really tell, to be honest, with how good Bryce Young's been doing. I mean, he hasn't been Rookie of the Year candidate or that number one pick, to be honest. I think Stroud has been that, but, I mean, I still think he's been pretty decent. It's just he's on a bad team, so, and for the difference between him and Stroud is that Stroud, he has some pretty good chemistry with the receivers. I don't think Bryce Young does. I think Bryce Young's just there, to be honest with you. And as we are talking about this, I wanted to make this announcement. College football is going on right now. Liberty and New Mexico State is playing as I'm starting this recording. You guys will probably see the results already. Hopefully this video gets up live on Saturday, if not Sunday. So you guys will probably see the results of college football. But we also got some high school football here tonight. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the rankings real quick of every NFL division. And I do want to mention this about the NFL, and that is that, Bryce, I think the pressure is also kind of getting to Bryce Young a little bit. I mean, not because, everyone's expecting the Panthers to do anything, but, he's starting he's just the starter, honestly, since year one, and he hasn't had a lot of experience. So that's probably, for Carolina fans, I think you should be kind of excited for that move because, you still have a chance, to be honest. It's just, what is Chris Tabor going to do as they play the Bucs, so we'll see what happens. See, that was a lot of... It's been a minute, all right? Anyways, let's talk about the rankings for each division. At last, we got the NFC South. The top team only has 5 wins, and it's the Saints. The Falcons are in second. The Bucs are in third. Bucs are 1 game behind. And I think with the win there, I think the Saints are losing as well, so is the Falcons. I want to say. Falcons are... Never mind, Falcons could actually take over as they play the Jets. But, yeah, the top team only has 5 wins. It is competitive, but it's it's kind of weak, to be honest. It feels like the feels like a D2 division right now. And there's let me take it back. Kind of like Conference USA, I want to say. Or no, not Conference. MAC. There we go. The Mid-Atlantic Conference. That's what it kind of feels like right now. Now for the next division, I think the AFC East is the next one, number 7. Dolphins are winning the division, but they haven't beat a team over 500. And Cowboys just did that yesterday. Seahawks were 6-5. So, Dolphins are a weird team to me. I'm going to be dead honest with you. They do have Tyreek Hill, who probably will be an MVP candidate. Most likely offensive player of the year for AFC. It's going to be close. Bills are in second. They have been not looking good, honestly. Josh Allen has turned over the ball more than probably ever, to be honest. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's the man cover curse. It can be. We'll see if they make even the playoffs because it's still kind of tight over there. Then you got the Jets and the Patriots. Patriots are probably up there for the worst team. Jets, I don't know why Aaron Rodgers is trying to come back. I think he should wait for his year for next year because, man, that Jets team, they might need to draft a quarterback. I think Garrett Wilson's really good on that team, and I think he's the one that's carrying it. Breece Hall can be, but also Sauce Gardner, Ahmed Sauce Gardner. I almost said Ahmed Gardner. He has looked amazing for the New York Jets defense, and I think there's a lot of potential there. So, I don't know. That team is old. I will say that. Aaron Rodgers we'll see what he does. There's so much that's going on right now. Up next, we got the AFC West. Almost it's out there. Chiefs have that division on lockdown, honestly. I think they're winning that division no matter what. The other 3 teams in that division are not competitive. They're just fighting for that second place in the AFC West. I could see a little bit with the Broncos right now because they are on a winning streak, and they do play the Texans. Texans are on a 1-game losing streak, but even then, still, Chiefs are definitely winning that division. Even though they lost to the Broncos and the Eagles, they're still doing pretty good. I really do like the Chiefs right now in this, in their division right now. And I do want to mention Raiders are bad. Oh, I forgot to mention this too. I thought Brandon Staley was going to get fired first for the Chargers. Between him or Arthur Smith from the Falcons, both of these teams. I'll mention why right now. Brandon Staley, the Chargers, they have literally good players. It's just his scheme sucks. All right. I'm just going to say it right now. I do not like any of these schemes right now. Falcons, you're the same thing for offense. Like, what is going on? You have Drake London. You have Desmond Riddler, but you're just using Bijan? Oh, yeah, also Kyle Pitts. I mean, come on, man. Kyle Pitts was a stud at Florida, and he was pretty good when he was over there for the Falcons. But they want to use Bijan. They want to use Tyler Algier. Nah, I don't like that at all. I think they need to use more than Bijan Robinson. Don't get me wrong. I think Bijan is a good player. I think he is a good player. But I think, yeah, that scheme does not fit for the Falcons. If they change it up right now, I think they are going to look cash money. Yeah, for the AFC West, also Raiders is looking not good for Derek Carr. Oh, no, not even Derek Carr. Sorry, not Derek Carr. Davante Adams. He wants to get out, so I think they're going to get last place next year. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with that division. Up next is the NFC North, and is mainly because it's kind of laughable, to be honest, who they lose to. Honestly, the Lions, they beat the Chiefs in week 1, and then they lost to the Packers last week. I get it, it's Thanksgiving, so they're not the best, but you got to break the trend at some point, right? Like, you got to start winning some games, the Lions. I mean, they have a good team, don't get me wrong. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jared Goff is okay. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, but their defense, like Jack Campbell and all them, they're really good. I don't know how they lost to the Packers. I think the Packers, honestly, is just really good on Thanksgiving. So, yeah. Vikings, too. I mean, Josh Dobbs, we haven't seen him with Justin Jefferson yet, so give him some time. And I will tell you if he's good or not. I mean, I can't really tell after one game, but for the final few games, I mean, they are on the bye week this week. But the biggest thing that shocked me, they literally only scored 10 points on the Bears. That's sad. That is really sad. And that is it. Packers-Bears, I mean, Bears, Justin Fields sucks. I'm just going to say it right now. I don't like Justin Fields on the Bears anymore. I thought he was going to be a good QB, and I thought he was going to change it around for the Bears, but no. DJ Moore needs to be used a lot more. And then for the Packers, Jordan Love, you got to give him some time, so not really. And about the division, I mean, that win against the Lions is huge, but, I mean, it was on Thanksgiving, so we'll see what happens. It was also on a specific crescent moon. I forgot what it's called. I'm going to be honest. Up next is the NFC West. Top 2 teams are really good. I put them below the East, especially after yesterday. And I think it was a good call by me because Eagles are better than the Niners and the Seahawks. Cowboys aren't better than the Niners, but they're definitely better than the Seahawks, as we saw. I mean, it was close, though. I will give them that. And the bottom 2 teams, Cardinals are the worst team. Rams are kind of mid with a terrible future and a lot of old players. So, yeah, Cardinals as well. I like Kyler Murray. I think he is pretty good. He needs some help, though. He really needs help. And also, I do want to mention for the Cardinals, why are you paying your players for food? I mean, don't you want them to be in the best shape possible? Like, come on, Cardinals. Adds a lot. Sorry, I know that was kind of rude. NFC East, top 2. Yeah, NFC East is next. Top 2 teams are competitive, but the reason why is because the Commanders and Giants are really bad. Yeah, and they're not competitive. But, hey, you're still 3. I mean, Eagles, Cowboys, every game is good. Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Giants, just that Commanders team is not that good. I'm going to be honest. So, yeah. We got the AFC South next. I could see 3 teams being in the playoffs. Titans, obviously. Their team is old. I'm going to do a little bit of a quicker summary. I had a take before, but then, yeah, the Zoom Kid died. Zoom Kid's like an audio thing. Captures good audio as well. But, yeah, I am not thrilled with the AFC South right now. Not the Titans. AFC South is really competitive, though. Besides the Titans, Colts, you got Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss. Zach Moss could be a really good trade asset. Anthony Richardson's out, so I think if Anthony Richardson was in, they would win that division this year. Texans, C.J. Stroud, obviously. I mean, what else can I say? But I do want to mention for the Texans, Derek Stingley Jr. has had an amazing comeback. So it's not all C.J. Stroud. I mean, take Dell, of course. You still got Devin Singletary. That scheme for C.J. Stroud is looking good. D'Amico Ryans, let's give him a shout-out. He's making C.J. Stroud look really good. And the Jags, obviously, I mean, they beat the Texans, and they have some good offensive players. They just need to work on their defense. And now for the best division, I think, this year's the AFC North. I mean, Bengals, Steelers, Ravens, Browns, all 4 teams could really make the playoffs. Now, I get it. Bengals do not have Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty anymore. And I don't even know who the quarterback is. But you still got the other 3 teams. Steelers, probably one of the better defenses in the league. Ravens are good. And Ravens, Lamar Jackson's been amazing. And 40 Browns, I mean, their defense is unstoppable. Top 5 for sure. And that is it for the NFL right now. Let's talk about MLB real quick. I'm going to make it really quick. Aaron Nola stays on the Phillies. Good move, honestly. I'm going to rate it out of 5. I'm going to go a little bit quicker today right now. Oh, wait a minute. We got some news here. Former Giants manager Gabe Kapler will be assistant GM for the Marlins. Alrighty. Yeah, good move from the Marlins. They really needed one. Let's get back to free agency. Aaron Nola stays on the Phillies. Really good move. And I think they are so close to that World Series. They are so close to winning it. They just need a little bit more push from the pitchers. That pitching staff needs to get a little bit better. Reynaldo Lopez goes from the Guardians to the Braves on a free agency. Good move. Braves, they are looking for players right now that could do really good in the playoffs because it has not looked good. Dodgers as well, as Dodgers made some moves right now. Ricky Vanasco and Jason Hayward stays on the Dodgers. Vanasco's a pitcher, a starting pitcher. I mean, we'll see what he does. I mean, I don't know a lot about that guy, but Jason Hayward is going to keep helping out with potential for Miguel Vargas and James Outman. Kyle Gibson, Sonny Gray, and Lance Lynn goes to the Cardinals. I mean, this is just so they can make a World Series push, but I think the biggest mistake was getting rid of Harrison Bader. That man is such a superstar on defense. And so a few more moves. We got Kenta Maeda and Paul DeJong. Kenta Maeda goes to the Tigers. DeJong goes to the White Sox. There's no point, honestly. Tim Anderson's still out, so this kind of says that Tim Anderson's probably going to a different team. I could see Tim Anderson go to a lot of teams, to be honest, because a lot of teams do need a shortstop. Dodgers probably will be in the lead, though. I mean, we'll see as the upcoming days. And same thing, Maeda's too old, and the Tigers, Cabrera just retired, so they need to figure out some new players for them. And then Emilio Pagan goes from the Twins to the Guardians. That is a pretty good move for the Guardians. They're going to try and make that push to make the playoffs. And he is a reliever, so we'll see, though, because Jose Ramirez is starting to get up there, so it's kind of okay. I mean, I get it, why they did it, but still, man. But the biggest one, I think, was Luis Severino goes to the Mets. He stays in New York, so I really like that move. I would have liked that move, actually, for the Mets if they still had Scherzer and Verlander. But, yeah, that happened, the trades. So I I get it. You do need players, but still, I mean, they still don't have, a really good offense. Pete Alonso is good. Vogelback is starting to decline. We got Marte. They do have Jeff O'Neill, don't they? Yeah, they do. Mets, yeah, they're looking pretty solid, honestly. And that's the only free agencies moves. But before we get into college football, we got some high school sports to congratulate. I want to congratulate MPA and Snowflake for girls MPA fall soccer team and boys Snowflake fall soccer team for winning their state championships. This is a few days before, but we were solely on starting the podcast. So I just wanted to mention it. For girls For girls cross country, it was Highland winning D1, Desert Mountain winning D2. D1 is the highest, by the way. D3 goes to ALA Queen Creek. D4 goes to Northwest Christian. Congratulations to all those for winning state. For girls cross country, for boys, it was Highland for D1, Millennium for D2, D3 was Page, and D4 was MPA. Congratulations to all of them. For girls badminton, I didn't even know this was a sport. I hope we get girls badminton back. But Samia Bonhankar for Hamilton gets the D1 singles. For D1 doubles, it was Amaya Hernandez and Jordan Mee. For D1, for the team, it was Sunny Slope, who barely wins against Hamilton 5-4. Now for D2, Riley Crockett from Prescott wins it. From doubles, it was Leon Pan and Nia Locks for Marcos Deniza. And the team, Ironwood, completes the 5-0 shutout against Prescott. So congratulations to all those for winning girls badminton. For flag football in the 5A, we had Campo Verde beat Canyon View 14-13, and for Mountain View and Mesa, it was 10-7 against Mountain Ridge. So congratulations to them for winning flag football finals. And now for football finals, we still have games today and games tomorrow for high school football. This is all for AIA, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Congratulations to Hayden in 1A, Scottsdale Christian in 2A, and Sabino in 3A for winning their respective high school state championships. But also, I do want to we'll give a shout out to the end, actually. For 4A and 5A, it is Yuma Catholic versus Canyon del Oro, and for 5A is Desert Edge versus Higley. That's for tonight. For tomorrow, if I can get it working. Yeah. Oh, okay. Nope. For tomorrow, it is, for 6A, it is Saguaro taking on number 12 Red Mountain. That is just proof that you can be pretty decent as long as you make the playoffs. D-backs are another example, and the Rangers of you can be pretty decent regular season as long as you make the playoffs. But once you make the playoffs, that's where you want to get hot. And Red Mountain's kind of an example of it. They take on Saguaro tomorrow. And for the Open, it is Liberty versus Centennial. That is going to be a really good matchup. Liberty has looked really good, but Centennial has looked pretty good. So we'll see what happens. Good luck to all four of those matchups. And now let's get into college football. And right as we are recording this, Liberty is playing against New Mexico State right now. I actually don't know the score, so you guys will probably know what the score is and all that stuff. We'll make our predictions actually later on in the video. Let's talk about it. And looking at this top 25, I mean, it all makes sense, to be honest. I thought Ohio State would be, never mind. I like Ohio State at 6. I think the one interesting thing I saw was how is James Madison not ranked? I get they're 11-1 and they're in Sun Belt, but still, man, I mean, James Madison's really good or not even that they're really good. They're good this year, to be honest. And when we move to 12 teams, I mean, it's gonna get scarier, honestly, for them. Sorry, I was checking my recording, but yeah, we're going to talk about the conference championship games in a bit. But for chances, let's talk about the top 8. We got Georgia at number 1. They're 69%. Michigan is pretty much a lockdown. Michigan's pretty much a lockdown at 98%. Washington is 27%. That's what shocked me. Florida State's 54%. Oregon's 64%. Ohio State's 1%. Texas is 47%, and Alabama's 36%. I think these are very fair as we got conference championship week coming up. And we're going to talk about it like we mentioned. Liberty and New Mexico State are playing. We got Oregon and Washington. They're going to be playing in a few minutes. We're going to probably be recording and stuff as the game's going on, so we'll see what happens. We got Miami of Ohio taking on Toledo. Oh, wait, sorry. I forgot to mention the leagues in the conferences. All right. Liberty versus New Mexico State. This is for the, I want to say, yes, Conference USA. Oregon takes on Washington. This is for Pac-12. Rest in peace to the Pac-12. As we're still going to get Washington State and Oregon State. It's just, Or is it going to be 2 teams? Are they going to add? I think they're going to add more teams. I'll talk about that theory when we don't have a lot going on. But today we do, so. Miami, Ohio takes on Toledo for the MAC, Mid-American Conference. Yeah, that's right. Texas takes on Oklahoma State. This is for the Big 12. Boise State against UNLV. This is for Mountain West. App State versus Troy for the Sun. Oh, no. Did I get that wrong? Yeah, I think I did. Hold on. Yeah, we'll just skip it. SMU against Tulane. We got Alabama versus Georgia, Louisville versus Florida State, and Iowa versus Michigan. I think I got some of the conferences wrong. It's fine. You guys can check them out. But yeah, I think the biggest thing here is in the rankings. I want to talk about a little bit. Bama, if they win, I think it's going to be shooken up really fast. Iowa wins 2. Ohio State will make it. I mean, there's just so much that goes on. Like Washington and Oregon, whoever wins that, it's going to the playoffs. Florida State, I mean, they got Louisville, but they're without Jordan Travis too, so there's a lot of big storylines. And I think it's looking good for all these teams right now. I really like all these teams. I really like a lot of these teams. I mean, you still got... I think the biggest thing, though, is if Bama beats Georgia. Because what do you do? I mean, if we have a bunch of upsets, if every game was an upset, what are we going to do, honestly, with the top 4? I mean, actually, it would be changed, actually, because Georgia, Alabama can make it. I mean, Texas could still make it. I mean, every game's an upset. What do we do? Like, that is the biggest thing right now. I think Georgia still makes it, though. Actually, not Georgia. Oregon or Washington would make it for sure. I think Bama would make it, and I think Penn State actually have a little bit of a chance, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, that is it for college football, and that is it for biggest things to talk about. And now let's get on to our next segment called the One Up Reviews. All right, so One Up Reviews. What's up, everybody? It is reviewing time. We are going to review different things from like video games to TV shows, movies, whatever, between those 3. And the first one, we had to do this because it just recently came out. UFC 5 is the UFC 5 first game we're doing. I had to do this because it just came out, new engine, new everything, and I do want to say I gave it 2 stars out of 5. I was close to giving it to more 1s than like actual like 2.2 or something. And I'll give you the positives and negatives right now. Number 1, positive. Well, for positives, the only thing I gave was the knockouts are so much better than UFC 4. And also the characters look pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. They actually look like themselves. Now, for the negatives. I do want to mention this is an EA Sports game, so it's kind of classic, to be honest with you. And that's really bad if it is. I mean, they don't really change anything. Sorry to EA, but they don't really change anything about that game, to be honest. New submission system is terrible. Very confusing. Still feels like the same old UFCs, like I mentioned with the classic EA thing. Online feels somewhat delayed even though I was playing on a really good network. It felt kind of delayed with my moves and stuff. I really kind of like the controls. It's just, they need to fix a lot. Career mode is so similar to UFC 4, and it's still not good. I wish it was kind of like how the OG games were a little bit, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm fine with the storytelling and stuff, and the people talking, but you got to mix it up at some point. It cannot be like 2K and it cannot be like Madden. They got to mix it up the show is pretty not good. We just haven't had a good career mode in a while for like EA games with storytelling and all that. Character options for career mode is terrible as well. Like I could pick, like it's still the same random skins, and that's my biggest concern when College Football 24 comes out is it's going to be the same way as Madden has been. And then one more thing, Mike Tyson, this is the biggest example. His fighter animations are not even close to him. There's some that are like that as well. It's just not looking good, especially for the legend characters, to be honest. And that is it for a segment. Let me know in the comments what y'all want me to do next. I'm thinking about doing a Mario video game next. Just because we have something fun to introduce. On this snowy day, thank you all so much for joining in. We still have more. Don't get me wrong. I just want to say thank y'all as we get into our last segment, and thank you for watching the first trailer episode. I want to give a shout out to all of our early subscribers. Also, I put down your first. I mean, you don't have to do this, but like you can put down your first name on your subscriber list. So, yeah, and. Yeah, that is it. Now we got one more segment, and it is called The Prophecy. It is after From God Friended Me. It is basically we're predicting games. I do want to give a shout out to, but we'll give some shout outs at the end, Chris. Don't worry. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's talk about college football, conference championship week, important week. I got Liberty taking a win against New Mexico State. They've been looking good. They're going to be 13-0, probably win the bowl game as well. As we'll see what happens. They'll get moved up for sure. Oregon will win against Washington, I think. Oregon's a better team. However, though, don't sleep on Michael Penix Jr. We will talk about it later on, but dang, it's looking really good. Miami, Ohio will probably win against Toledo. I don't know much about the MAC conference this year, but I think Miami, Ohio could take it home. Texas beats Oklahoma State. I mean, that's just probably the thing right now. Is I don't think Oklahoma State has a team to compete with Texas. UNLV beats Boise State. I mean, Boise State hasn't been the same since a few years ago, but UNLV has been looking really solid this year. Troy beats App State. I think Troy has a better team. Tulane beats SMU. Tulane has always looked good. Georgia, I got Georgia against Alabama. I'm sorry, but I could really see it being opposite ways, especially with Oregon and Washington. Florida State beats Louisville. I really like that option. And Michigan will beat Iowa. I could really see Iowa. I could see a little bit of Iowa winning if their defense holds up and they somehow get a pick six in the game. But, yeah, their offense has been looking good. Michigan has really good offense. Now for the NFL. And I do want to mention real quick, before we get to this, Shohei Ohtani, we'll talk about him real quick. I forgot to talk about him. A lot of teams going for him and Yamamoto. I mean, Ohtani wants so much money, and I could see, like, the big teams. But I think he's going to go on. Where's team? All right, and yeah, it got dark. All righty, so let me sum this up real quick. NFL games: Chargers beat the Pats, Lions beat the Saints, Falcons beat the Jets. All right, hold on. Chargers will beat the Pats. Pats are terrible right now. Chargers will get their comeback victory. Lions beat the Saints. Derek Carr's looked good, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Falcons beat the Jets. Obvious. I think Falcons can do it. That's only if they can figure out their scheme. If not, the Jets have a chance. It's 50-50, honestly. Steelers beat the Cardinals. Cardinals are the worst team right now. Sorry about that. I had a text message to answer. Colts beat the Titans. Colts are looking good. Jonathan Taylor. Titans are terrible right now. But yeah, I got the Steelers beating the Cardinals, mainly because the Cardinals suck. right now. Sorry to all the Cardinals fans. I know a lot of them are watching, but y'all need to figure it out. Dolphins beat the Commanders. Commanders are under 500, so Dolphins will get that win. Texans beat the Broncos. It's going to be close, honestly. I think that's going to be a really good game. Bucks beat the Panthers. What do I mention about this? Oh, yeah, Bucks. Yeah, Panthers are not a good team. Even though with the firing, like I mentioned earlier, I think the Bucks still have him. Baker Mayfield will play a really solid game. Browns beat the Rams. Their defense is way better than the Rams' defense. Niners, this is a big one. Here, we'll get to that later. Chiefs will beat the Packers. I think the Chiefs are looking good. I got the Jags against the Bengals. Bengals, Joe Burrow's out, so I mean, we don't know what's going to go on, but I think the Jags have that victory. And I got, this was tough. It's going to be probably a 3-point game, to be honest, but I got the Niners beating the Eagles. I think Brock Purdy will have his breakout game. And you know what? It's fine for the Eagles fans. I mean, if the Eagles win, I mean, I could see that too. It's 50-50 for me. It's really tough. All right, so that is it for the podcast today. Follow the podcast on Instagram at thetriangleofbaseball.com, or not .com, at Triangle of Baseball for more content. Join us next week though, as we have more Smash Bros. As we have more content for sports and the start of Nintendo and Smash Bros. Content, which we wanted to start it out. Chris out.